All right, you feather merchants. This story is about when I had an opportunity to fly on a military T 38 trainer jet. And it's kind of an interesting story. But anyway, like I had said previously, I had been an iron worker for 25 years. And the first 15 years it was spent in northwest Indiana, working in the steel mills along Lake Michigan. Well, anyway, it was about 1977, 78. The bottom fell out of the steel industry. Work got really bad. I had gotten divorced, and I found myself living with a friend of mine in Gary, Indiana, in his extra bedroom, and it was in the wintertime. There wasn't much work, but I did have a job on a powerhouse coming out of the ground in Wheatfield, Indiana. Excuse me. And it was in the middle of the winter. It was cold. I was miserable. I was used to spending my winters in Mexico. While I'm staying with my friend in Gary, Indiana, we're both sleeping with guns under our pillow because police helicopters waking us up in the middle of the night, chasing idiots around through the yard, So I prayed. And anyone that doesn't think there's a God, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Anyway, make a long story short, I prayed that he would help me. And I'll be damned. The next morning, I went to work. And like I said, I'm working and actually in the middle of what used to be a cornfield. It's a powerhouse coming out of the ground, and it is so cold. It takes an hour to drive down there. It was on all icy roads. It was horrible. Anyway, I see this iron worker. I haven't seen him in a long time, and he just came from California. And I'm bullshitting with him. And he said, "Yeah, it works really good out there." So I asked him about it, and he said, "Look," he said, "there's a guy that used to be out of our local, and he had worked for your dad at one time, and he said he's on the executive board in local 433. He said, give him a call." So I got home that night. I called him, and I told him my situation. He asked me, he said, "Have you ever been in trouble?" And I said, "No." I said, "I'm as clean as a board of health." So he says, "Okay." He said, "Call me back tomorrow, and I'll see what I can do." And I asked him, I said, "Can I take my brother with me?" Because he is an iron worker too. He said, "You call me back tomorrow, and I'll let you know." Anyway, I called him back the next day, and he said, "They're waiting for you two. You drive to Las Vegas, and there's a government building that you go to." And we spent a week doing paperwork. It was quite a process. But anyway, getting back to the story, we get a job on the Nevada test site, and we end up in an area. I'm not going to mention the area because I don't want some government agency visiting me. So anyway, we ended up spending, actually I did, I spent 10 years in this particular area. And about the last 8 years, I was trying to get a ride. I was trying to get an opportunity to fly a military jet. And I ran into pilots. I'd bullshit with them. And some of them would say, "Yeah, I'll take you up." But base commander, they're not going to do that. They wouldn't let me go. Anyway, I finally applied for the Department of Corrections, and I'm going to go to the academy soon and corrections. And my supervisor, he realized what was going on, and he talked to the base commander, and I'll be darned, they allowed me. They allowed to have a test pilot take me up in this military T-38 jet and let me fly it. Well, I had to go to learn how to eject, stuff like that, and get suited up with my flight suit. And I showed up. This is on the job. I'm on the job. And I get dressed in a flight suit. They take a photo, which I'll post on the end of this video. And this guy, first thing he does, he said, now listen, he said, this is real serious. He says, if we have to eject, I can't eject until you eject. And I told him, I said, that's the least of your worries. I would eject just for the experience. And he kind of looked at me funny, and I got in the pilot's seat. I'm in the back, and we taxi out onto the roadway. And I mean, it was like, oh, this is incredible. And they give us a go-ahead to take off. And it's, you'd be surprised, it's a short takeoff. I mean, when he hits the gas, this plane went straight up in the air. And it, what it feels like is like, it felt like I weighed about 400 pounds. You're plastered to your seat going straight up in the air, and you can't move. And it's even, I found it difficult to breathe. You have an oxygen mask on, but you have to force the air out. It's like, it's a funny feeling. And then from there, we went upside down, and he's showing me what it's like to fly under the radar, rolling in it, and I mean, it's unbelievable. And he told me, he said, now if you start feeling sick, let me know right away, and I'll slow down. And because if you puke in that mask, it's over. I got to take you down on the ground. So I said, okay. So he asked me, he says, you ever fly? I said, yeah, I fly all the time. It's like, I had a friend that lived in Las Vegas. He had a Piper Cub, and he used to take me up and let me fly his Piper Cub. There's no comparison to this. But I remember the Piper Cub had this one particular gauge that I could see the jet actually had. The jet had all these gauges on it. And the gauge I'm talking about, it shows whether you're going up, down, sideways. It just shows that you at the level you want to fly at. And I told him, I said, yeah, I fly all the time. And he says, well, take the controls. I thought, oh, this is incredible. And you've got the throttle on the left side, and you got a stick in front of you between your legs. So I right away I look at that gauge, and I'm using the stick, and I can see I'm flying at level. And he told me, he says, push the throttle in. So I pushed it in. He says, no. He said, push it all the way in. I pushed that all the way in, and I could hear the afterburners kick in, and I'm sucked back into my seat. It's like, I thought, I can't believe I'm doing this. And I thought to myself, if I hadn't been such an idiot in high school, I could have been a fighter pilot. I could have done this. So anyway, we're flying at Mach 1, and he told me to roll it. And I said, you're shitting me. I said, how do I do that? He said, just take the stick and move it to the left, to the right, and as soon as you feel the plane straighten up, just hold the stick there. So at Mach 1, I rolled that jet, and it just like rolled right over, just as smooth as anything. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. And I asked him, I said, can I take it straight up? He said, do whatever you want. I pulled that stick. Like when he took off, I'll tell you the truth, it actually scared me. It happened so fast, and we were going so fast. But when I did it, it was all I felt was adrenaline. And I pulled that stick back, and I went straight up in the air like that, and I did just what he did. I went straight up in the air, and I came over upside down. And I thought, wow, that flight lasted an hour. And I could see where there was wild horses when we were like flying down under the radar. I could see herds of wild horses running, and oh, what an experience that was. Anyway, I have the photo, and I'm going to post that on here and let you guys see it. And you know what? After the photo was taken, it was, I think I reported to the CDC Academy only about a week later. Like, what an incredible experience that was. All right, you feather merchants, that's it for me.